Good evening, and welcome to a meeting of the Chesapeake School Board. A printed agenda is available in the back of the room if you wish to follow the business items we'll be discussing this evening. Roll call, Dr. Smith.
Mr. Elijah Colon. Ms. Malia Huddle. Mr. Mike Lamonia.
Here.
Mr. John McCormick.
Here.
Mr. Norman Poole.
Here.
Mr. Daniel Staller.
Here.
Mrs. Amanda Walker.
Here.
Mrs. Kim Scott, Vice Chair.
Vice Chair Scott is absent this evening.
And Mrs. Angie Swigert, Chair.
Present. The next item is the adoption of the agenda. Does the superintendent or any board member wish to add or delete an item from the agenda?
Thank you, Madam Chair. No items to add to the agenda, but we will need a closed session for student matters, legal matters, and personnel matters.
I'll entertain a motion for approval. Moved by Mr. McCormick. Is there a second? Seconded by Mr. Poole. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Dr. Smith.
Motion carries with all board members present voting yes.
We will now go into the closed portion of our meeting. I'll ask Board Member Poole to read the language to take us into closed session.
Chair Swigert, I move the board should convene a closed session pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711, subsection A1, A2, and A8 for discussion and consideration of personnel matters related to the performance of specific employees, student discipline matters, and a consultation with legal counsel regarding specific legal matters.
Is there a second? Seconded by Mr. Lamonia. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Dr. Smith.
Motion carries with all board members present voting yes.
Before we move into closed session, and in accordance with Bylaw 2-33, we will need a motion to approve the remote participation of Sands Anderson attorney Nikki Shook, who will join us for the discussion in closed session. Is there a motion for approval? So moved by Mr. Lamonia. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. McCormick. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Dr. Smith.
Motion carries with all board members present voting yes.
We are now in closed session. Open session.
Chair Swigert, I move that the record show that the only items discussed in the closed meeting were those specifically cited in the motion to convene the closed meeting and those lawfully exempted from statutory meeting requirements.
Is there a second? Seconded by Mr. Lamonia. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Dr. Smith.
Motion carries with all board members present voting yes.
Dr. Cotton, do you have any items resulting from closed session?
Yes, Madam Chair. Thank you. I recommend that student number 1 be expelled with surfaces.
I'll entertain a motion for approval. So moved. Moved by Ms. Huddle. Is there a second? Seconded by Mr. Colon. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Dr. Smith.
Motion carries with all board members present voting yes.
Next, I will entertain a motion regarding the appeal under School Board Policy 9-21.
Chair Swigert, in regards to the appeal of superintendent's decisions pursuant of school board policy 9-21, in reference to the student 2, I move to support the recommendation by the superintendent.
Is there a second? Seconded by Ms. Huddle. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Dr. Smith.
Motion carries with all board members present voting yes.
Thank you. There being no additional items resulting from closed session, we will move on to the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. At this time, I'd call upon Deacon Adrian Marchi from St. Stephen the Martyr Catholic Church to provide tonight's invocation. Afterward, I'll ask Carlos Romero, a 5th grade student from Carver Intermediate, to lead us in the pledge. Please stand as you are able.
Amen. Heavenly Father, we thank you so very much for all your gifts. You are the giver of all good gifts. And we recognize you, O Lord. We recognize your Son, Jesus Christ. We recognize the Holy Spirit, the Spirit of truth, who guides us into all truth. Father, we thank you so very much for the gift of this board and the gift of their families and the gift of these people here present at this meeting. We ask you, Father, that through your mercy, you give them guidance, good guidance, and strength and wisdom to do what they need to do to make deliberations and the decisions that they need to make for the good of the community. Ask you, Father, to bless us all Bless us as we move forward, and we thank you for finding us worthy to be in your presence and always be at your service. Father, as they move forward with all the business that they have in front of them, may they always keep in mind the good of the community. May they keep in mind that they are under your service, O Lord. May they have the humility to see that you are the one that sustains the whole world. And we ask you, Father, to bless us, and bless us in the name of your Son, Jesus, the name that is above every other name, under which we all bow. And we love you, Lord. We pray all this in Jesus' name. Amen. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all.
Thank you to Deacon Marchie and also to Carlos and to your mom and also Principal Bobson and Ms. Hickey for being here with us tonight. We appreciate all of you guys coming. Next under awards and recognitions is the VSBA Academy Awards. Dr. Smith?
Thank you very much, Chair Swigert. Each year, the Virginia School Boards Association recognizes board members who have earned awards for their participation in various VSBA activities held throughout the year. Tonight, we are recognizing Chair Swigert and Dr. Cotton, who have received the Award of Excellence. We also are recognizing board members Mr. Norman Poole, Mr. John McCormick, and Mr. Mike Lamonia for earning the Award of Recognition. Your certificates are at your places this evening. Congratulations to each of you, and this completes my item.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. There being no additional items under awards and recognitions, we will move on to the hearing of citizens. Dr. Smith, are there any citizens who have requested time to speak this evening?
Yes, Madam Chair, we have 3 citizens requesting time.
Thank you. During their allotted time, speakers should observe our rules of decorum and know that expressions of concerns and criticism on matters of school policy and operations is welcome. However, speakers must deliver their own remarks and may not play pre-recorded messages. I want to thank those speakers who have signed up to address the board this evening. As a reminder, there are 2 ways that citizens can request time to speak at our meetings. You can call the clerk's office before 12 noon the day of the meeting, or sign up to speak in person prior to the start of the meeting. All in-person requests must be submitted to the deputy clerk at least 5 minutes prior to the published meeting start time. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to address the board. Once your allotted time is over, we ask that you promptly exit the podium, and we would also like to ask that you refrain from any behavior that disrupts the meeting, including the use of profanity, applause, cheering, or jeering. Dr. Smith, please call the first speaker.
Yes, I'd like to invite speaker number 1 to the podium. Speakers are called in numerical order and are asked to state their name and city of residence before they begin.
Good evening. My name is Helen Vandermill. I'm a resident of Virginia, the city of Virginia Beach, but I'm a retired teacher from Chesapeake Public Schools, and my grandchildren go to Chesapeake Public Schools. I'm here to address the concern for Chesapeake High School testing policies. My first concern is the policy that students aren't given time needed to complete their tests. When a student requested to be able to finish a test, the teacher stated, "I'm not going to let him finish. Why would I let you?" That's not acceptable. As an elementary school teacher, I always gave students the time they needed to finish their tests. I know time is short for all teachers, but you find a way. You send them to another classroom if you can't finish, or you only grade what they accomplished. The goal of a test, sorry, I'm a little nervous here. All right. I found somewhere where students could go and finish in grade only. The purpose of tests is to see if a student understands and can apply the information taught, not to see how fast they can go. That applies not just in elementary school, but it also applies in high schools. Anyone who's been in a classroom knows all students test differently. Some are quick and some are slow for accuracy. You allow students to take all the time they need for SOL tests because that affects the teacher, the school, and the district. But when a student needs the time to be thorough on a test for their own success, too bad. Give students the time they need to properly finish their tests. The biggest concern about testing policy in Chesapeake high schools is parents are being denied the ability to come into the school and see their child's test. Especially if the student fails, how else is the parent going to figure out where their struggles are? Parents and teachers are supposed to be a team working together to ensure the success of the students. Specifically this case where the student was enrolled in one of the STEM Academy programs. Students in these academies have to maintain a B or higher average in all their STEM courses. The student was struggling in one class, so the parents attempted to help by asking to see the test so they could find out what the problem was. They were told no. You can't see the tests. The parents contacted the school administration and were still denied the rights to see the tests. 2 weeks before the beginning of this school year, the parents were informed the student was removed from the academy and were told they could do nothing about it. Ultimately, the parents contacted the school board. 3 members saw a problem with this and forwarded it to the superintendent. The superintendent did send an email back to the parents stating they could go before a board and present their complaint.
Speaker number 2, it's your turn at the podium. Please state your name and city of residence before you begin.
Good evening, board members. My name is Lyle Reynolds. I'm a resident of Chesapeake. I'm here to formally address a matter of off-campus cyberbullying, harassment, and threats directed at my daughter who is a student at Deep Creek High School. On or around October 15th, 16th, a Discord server involving several Deep Creek students was used to target her. One student stated she intended to beat up my daughter, as well as others encouraged her to do so, and others volunteered to do it for her. In addition to these threats, students spread false and obscene rumors, including deeply offensive statements and repeated use of slurs targeting her sexuality, about her gender identity, if you can read between the lines of the words that they used, and anti-Semitic remarks. These communications were hate-motivated, defamatory, and harmful. And they have caused my daughter significant emotional distress and fear for her safety. I have preserved screenshots and timestamps of the messages submitted to them as evidence to the school. Following my initial report, I was informed the incident was classified as peer conflict rather than bullying, and the only disciplinary action communicated to us was an in-school suspension for at least one student involved by another student, and I must express serious concern with that determination. Under Virginia Code, bullying is defined as any aggressive and unwanted behavior intended to harm, intimidate, and humiliate the victim, involving either a power imbalance or a conduct that causes severe emotional trauma. This includes cyberbullying, whether it is on or off school grounds. Based on the facts of this case, the criteria for bullying under both Virginia Code and the Chesapeake Public Schools policy have clearly been met. There was intent to harm and humiliate through false and hateful statements. There were explicit threats of physical violence, and a group of students targeting a single student establishes a power imbalance. This emotional impact on my daughter has been noticeable and will be documented. Furthermore, CPS policy states the district maintains jurisdiction over off-campus cyberbullying when it disrupts the school environment. This situation has done exactly that, as she no longer feels safe or able to focus at school. To date, we have not received confirmation that the school resource officer has been informed or ever involved, nor have we been provided a written safety plan. This is particularly concerning, considering that my daughter has a pre-existing medical condition with her retinas, meaning that any head injuries could result in permanent blindness in one of her eyes at minimum. And this is documented in her record. Accordingly, I'm requesting the following: a prompt and comprehensive investigation under Chesapeake Public Schools bullying and harassment policies, the immediate involvement of the school resource officer regarding the threats of violence, and the development and implementation of a formal safety plan to ensure the protection and well-being of my daughter. Every student deserves a learning environment that is safe, inclusive, and respectful. I urge the district to review this case, ensure that policy and law are being applied consistency, and to take appropriate corrective action. Thank you for your time, attention, and commitment to the safety of all students.
Speaker number 3, it's your turn at the podium. Please state your name and city of residence before you begin.
It's Rocky Meadows Jones. I'm from, I live in Chesapeake. And so the concern that I want to bring before you guys, I would really appreciate if the school board would band together and recreate a policy to help our K through 5 children when it comes to internet usage. So right now, the kids are, basically we have the accessible user policy, which is for K through 12. Well, that's too broad. So we have it to where basically, the school district has the cybersecurity. They block sexually explicit content sometimes because these kids are finding their way around it. But then our kids are going on YouTube, little kids. So I have 6 children, 5 go to the school district, and I do not like that they have the ability. I've got 3 kids in intermediate school. And I don't like that my children are coming home and they're scared because some other kid showed them something inappropriate that was scary, or that I find out from my other kid that they're on YouTube. So I talk to other parents and they're talking to their kids now. They're like, oh my gosh, they're on YouTube as well. I don't allow YouTube in our home and as open to my children at all. So what's happening is by allowing these children to be on YouTube or other platforms where they can search non-school related material, you're taking the rights of the parents away from us to where I can't say, hey, don't watch that, don't view that. You just took my rights as a mom and all these other parents away. So I'm calling on the school district, the school board, to put in place something specific for K through 5, saying school-related material only. There is no searching allowed. And because right now you're putting all that pressure on the teachers. So it's a teacher by teacher basis. Some of these teachers are amazing and are really good, and they say, no YouTube, no, you cannot search in our classroom. This one parent said, Rocky, it's great, my kid has a really good teacher, he's not searching on YouTube, they're not allowed to have it. Then she came back to me the next week, she said, Rocky, there was a substitute. They were on YouTube. So take the pressure off the teachers. That's not fair to the teachers to have to monitor 20 plus screens while teaching to make sure these kids are not being exposed to inappropriate things. So I'm calling the school board to please, K through 5, eliminate the ability to search on platforms such as YouTube and keep it school specific only, because that's what we as parents are setting our children to do, is to go to school, nothing else. So I also have petitions. I went around, I also put online, I started a petition, so if you guys would like to see where that is located, I will be glad to pass that out. It has the QR code, and you can go ahead and see that. We're going to continue to get the word out, and I would like to know, as you all and us, what we can do to partner together.
This concludes our speakers for this evening.
Thank you for sharing your comments. Our practice is to receive information. However, we did not usually engage in dialogue, and that is our intent tonight. If appropriate and not already provided, someone from the superintendent's staff will evaluate your concern and provide a response. We will now consider the consent agenda. I'll entertain a motion for approval. Moved by Mr. Poole. Is there a second? Seconded by Mr. Stoller. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. All opposed? Dr. Smith.
Motion carries with all board members present voting yes.
Moving on to the information agenda, the first item tonight is the superintendent's proposed capital improvement plan. Ms. Stutz.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As required, we will be presenting an update of the capital improvement plan for the board's consideration. Tonight's the initial presentation of the superintendent's proposed capital improvement plan for 2026 through 2036. We will have 2 additional work sessions on the capital plan before requesting action by the board. We also do have it listed in your board docs, the document, if you're inclined to read all 105 pages or so. And this evening, we have Dr. Pedro Martinez, our planning administrator, who will present the plan. So, Pedro?
Good evening, everyone. Tonight, I will be presenting the superintendent's proposed capital improvement plan for 2026-2036, which is our roadmap for addressing the facility needs of our school division. I'll begin with a brief overview of the elements of the capital improvement plan, or CIP, followed by our key planning objectives. We will then examine the residential development and enrollment trends that inform our decisions. Finally, I will outline the proposed projects and their costs for the first 5 years of the plan. The CIP is our long-range planning tool for capital projects costing $100,000 or more. It is a 10-year plan recommended by the superintendent to the school board with a detailed financial focus on the first 5 years. It's important to remember that this is a plan, not a budget. The funding for these projects is approved by the City Council as part of the annual city budget process. We have established several key planning objectives in our CIP. Our first primary goal is the construction of a new Chesapeake Career Center. The current facility, which is over 50 years old, needs to be replaced to support modern instructional programs. We propose building the new center on a school district-owned site on Clearfield Avenue. This site was previously designated for an elementary school, but based on enrollment trends and elementary school capacity in the area, it is no longer needed for that purpose. The estimated cost of the new facility, excluding design costs already funded, is approximately $101.5 million. Our next key planning objective is the replacement of Carver Intermediate School. The current building is 73 years old. This project will replace it with a new facility and change the school from serving grades 3 to 5 to a full K-5 elementary school with an estimated construction cost of around $84.2 million. Additionally, Portlock Primary will be evaluated for a potential conversion to a K-5 program. Another one of our main goals is to optimize our primary and intermediate grade levels to a K-5 model whenever it is feasible. This reduces the number of school transitions for young students and is a key component of projects like the Carver Intermediate replacement. Additionally, a study is underway to explore the establishment of early childhood education centers to meet the growing demand for preschool services. Now, let's turn to the primary data that guides our planning decisions, specifically residential development and enrollment trends. This slide shows the number and type of new homes built in Chesapeake from 2020 through September of this year. As you can see, the property type with the highest number of units built consistently throughout the years has been single-family homes. While construction continues across all types, the overall trend has been a decline in the total number of new units built per year. Based on the rate of construction so far in 2025, we project that the final number will be similar to or slightly higher than that of 2024. This data directly impacts our enrollment projections. Looking ahead, this map displays a total of 5,778 home sites that have received preliminary approval for future development. It is important to emphasize that this number indicates potential growth. To put this in perspective, as shown on the previous slide, this approved home site count is approximately 7 to 10 times higher than the number of homes built annually over the past 3 years. Preliminary approval does not necessarily mean all these homes will be constructed. For those that do proceed, the timeline for construction remains unknown. This is a critical factor we will continue to monitor closely as we update our enrollment projections each year. Now, let's move forward with our historical and projected enrollment. This chart displays our enrollment history and projections. After reaching a peak in 2005, enrollment declined and then increased again, peaking just before the pandemic. Following that peak, we saw a significant drop, primarily due to the COVID-19 pandemic, a trend observed across school divisions nationwide before beginning a steady recovery. Our projected enrollment for September 30th of this year is 39,900 students. We do not have our official enrollment number yet because the data is still being reviewed. I must note that while our projections showed a slight increase, the preliminary data indicates a different outcome. We are now anticipating a final number that reflects a decrease in enrollment compared to last year. We expect to have the official certified figures soon. Looking ahead, while we expect an increase of about 1,900 students over the next decade, this projected growth is more moderate than in previous years. This change is partly due to factors like the slower pace of home construction and declining birth rates. We will continue to monitor these trends closely and will update any significant changes in our projected enrollment in future editions of the Capital Improvement Plan. Now let's turn to the projects plan for the next 5 years. First are the major mechanical and maintenance projects. This category covers numerous HVAC and roof replacements as well as repaving projects. Some are partial replacements as noted on the slide with an asterisk. As shown, over the next 5 years, we plan for 22 HVAC replacements, 18 roof replacements, and 7 repaving projects. The total cost for these essential projects during this period is $266,603,500, representing 43% of the overall projected cost. The next category is modernizations, replacements, additions, and new schools. On this slide, we see several projects focused on converting our intermediate schools. This includes building additions at Sparrow Road Intermediate and funds to begin the design for an addition at Greenbrier Intermediate. The plan also includes the replacement or modernization of Druid Intermediate, as well as a full replacement building for Carver Intermediate. These projects are all part of our long-term goal to transition to a K-5 elementary model. Continuing with this category, we have several modernization projects. We have the modernization of Deep Creek Central Elementary, as well as design funds being requested for Crestwood Middle, Indian River Middle, and the CCSS Annex, as well as Western Branch Middle. This slide also highlights the building addition at Southeastern Elementary, currently scheduled to open in fall 2026, and the new elementary school at the Culpeper Landing site, which is currently under construction and scheduled to open in fall 2027. Both Southeastern Elementary and the new elementary school at Culpeper Landing are fully funded, and they do not contribute to the projected total shown on this slide. The total estimated cost for all projects in this category is $253,491,500, or 41% of the total CIP. The final category, other projects, accounts for a projected total of $101,500,000, or 16% of the total CIP. This includes the full replacement of the Chesapeake Career Center building, which is one of our key planning objectives. We also anticipate that the modifications at the Edwards Wilson Center to support the adult education program, currently located at the Educational Services Center, is expected to be under construction by late spring 2026. The Edwards Wilson Center is fully funded and not included in the project costs shown on this slide. Lastly, it is important to note that with the establishment of the Central Athletic Fund, athletic facility projects are no longer part of the CIP. This slide provides a year-by-year breakdown of the projected cost for the first 5 years of the CIP. As you can see, the cost varies significantly from year to year based on the specific phases of design and construction for the project schedule. For the first year of this plan, 2026-2027, the total projected cost is $55,247,900. The 5-year grand total is $621,595,000. This represents the projected need to complete all projects in the first 5 years of the plan, contingent upon funding from the city. This is the first of several presentations on the superintendent's proposed CIP. We will hold a staff presentation, public hearing, and work session on November 17th, followed by a public hearing and final decision request on December 8th. For those interested in reviewing the document in detail, printed copies of the proposed CIP are available at the School Administration Building, and an electronic version can be downloaded from our website. That concludes my presentation. Thank you for your time and attention. I will now be happy to answer any questions you may have.
It's a lot to digest. I don't think I see any questions at this point, but I'm sure by November we will have some for you. Thank you.
Understand. Thank you.
The next item tonight on the information agenda is the update on the proposed calendar options. Dr. Smith?
Thank you, Chair Swigert. I know this is the moment you've all been waiting for. Dr. Fallon Graham is back with us today, our Director of Planning, Policy, and Research. She's just going to give you an overview. She'll remind you of the proposed options for the upcoming calendar years, and then take a look at what the community had to say about those options. Dr. Graham.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Chair Swigert and members of the board. Tonight, I'm going to present the results of the calendar survey. As a reminder, our proposal included two options. Option A included post-Labor Day starts for the next 2 years, while option B had a post-Labor Day start for 26-27, but then a pre-Labor Day start for 27-28. I'm going to share the results of the survey to help you make an informed decision. But here are some details before. The survey opened on October 6th, and it closed 2 weeks later on October 19th. We really want to make sure that our community was informed that the survey was available. So after announcing the survey at the school board meeting, our communications department posted the survey on the district website and sent out several communication messages through our different channels. That also began on October 6th and extended through October 16th. We had a very strong participation rate with close to 7,000 responses. Our highest number of responses came from participants who identified as parents. Next, our employees followed, and then following our employees, then our students, and then lastly, our community members. We also collect data on responses by zip code. We collect this information from our parents and our community members. The zip code 23322 had the highest participation rate. Zip code 23323 represented the next largest participation group, and then following was 23320 and 23321. They were followed closely behind. We included open-ended questions to gather community feedback. And after reviewing the responses, we identified a few quotes that reflect the overall sentiments expressed by the majority of the participants in each subgroup. But it's important to note that while these are just 4 quotes used to illustrate common themes, they obviously do not represent every individual's voice or perspective. So in general, students expressed that school should not start until September. Most parents prefer a start date that begins after Labor Day, but also express the desire to preserve vacation time. They want to have time off before Thanksgiving, and they enjoy the full 10-day weekday winter break. Community members also shared their views, with a majority of them favoring post-Labor Day. And the reason why is they enjoy that extra family time. Employees were more divided. While slightly more preferred starting after Labor Day, almost as many supported a pre-Labor Day start, citing reasons such as aligning with neighboring districts and allowing for extended holiday breaks. So before I present the results, I want to note that we accounted for instances of ballot stuffing, which is when an individual attempts to influence the outcome by submitting multiple votes. So our program is able to detect that and then adjust for these occurrences, and we had a few cases of that. Additional feedback after we reached out to us and sought clarification as to why Chesapeake schedules more instructional time as required by the state and also in comparison to other divisions. So while the Code of Virginia includes a minimum requirement of 990 instructional hours each year, high school courses must also meet a Carnegie seat time requirement. And this requires students to successfully complete 140 clock hours. And these requirements are in place in order for our high school students to earn a standard credit. So in our proposed 26-27 calendar, for example, it banks about 3.5 days in each semester, 3.64 days in the first semester and 3.27 days in the second semester to be precise. And these banked hours, they give us a little bit of cushion in case the district decides to close in the event of a weather event or some kind of unplanned event. And it still allows our students to meet the required instructional hours to earn the verified standard credit. So here are the results broken down by subgroup. Parents showed a stronger preference with 70% favoring option A, which means that they want to start after Labor Day for the next two calendars, 26-27 and 27-28. Community members also showed a clear lean towards starting after Labor Day for the next two calendar years. Employees were nearly divided, suggesting there wasn't a clear consensus within this subgroup. And students were also somewhat mixed, but they leaned in towards option A. Again, a preference, but not an overwhelming consensus for our students. Overall, the results indicate a majority of participants preferring to start after Labor Day for 26-27 and 27-28 school years. So that concludes my update. Before I finish, do you have any questions for me?
Ms. Walker?
Yes, I have a question. I apologize if you've answered this before. The banked days that we have, the 3.5, is that technically, do we still need to have that if we have the ability to be virtual? Like I know when we encounter snow days and things like that, now that our students were one-to-one from a technology perspective, do we really need to be banking those or do they not count the same?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is that my question? Okay. I
Wasn't
noticed
sure.
everyone looking at me. Well, there's so many things that happen at the high school level, and it's important to have that cushion to make sure we meet that time. You are correct that we can use the virtual time, we just can't plan for that ahead of time. And so typically what we've done when we've had a weather event, we don't always go virtual initially. We kind of move to virtual, so we end up able to use some of that bank time. So it's a little tighter at the high school level. And I would also tell you that there's a lot of things that happen, like the SOL testing window. Now we do a late bus run, which cuts into some of that instructional time as well. So it's been good to have that cushion there to make sure that we meet that requirement. Elementary and middle school, they have more bank days. That's why we've been able to work with the elementary to give them additional planning days. Historically, we have had a 180-day calendar, which maximizes instructional time. Certainly, if the board wants to deviate from that, we can look at that, but it has implications not only with decreasing instructional time, which we certainly value, but you're also going to be getting into employee schedules, and there's a lot involved in that and a lot of changes that we'll have to make in order to make that happen. But again, it's based on what the board would like us to explore at this point.
Okay. And my only other comment is I want to thank everyone that participated in this survey. I know we did have a good turnout. If we were to measure just surveys as a whole, it's good for that. When I also look at the total, I think about our total student body, and I think about the number of parents attached to that student body, and then I go, well, it really isn't that many that responded. So I would just encourage the folks at home. I will tell you this was like a hit topic on Chesapeake Moms, so I'm actually shocked that there wasn't more respondents. But I would also ask everyone to keep in mind all the various factors. I did see a comment circulating that was, I want to start after Labor Day, I want a full week of Thanksgiving, I want 2 weeks for Christmas, and I want to be out by May 31st. And the truth of the matter is that's just not feasible. So I hope everybody pays attention to kind of all the facts and everything that goes into this, but thank you.
Thank you.
Very well said. I absolutely echo that it is so much more of a complicated process with so many factors and components that have to be factored in, and we appreciate all that your team has done to put this together. So I see no additional questions at this time, I don't believe. So thank you, Dr. Graham.
Thank you, everybody.
Last on the information agenda tonight is the school support presentation. Dr. Cotton?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair and members of the board. We are still awaiting final test results from the state, so we still do not have our final results. However, we do not want to wait until everything is final before we start working with supporting our schools. As you know, we have 2 of our chiefs who work directly with our schools. We have Dr. Delphine Joppi, who you're going to hear from in just a second, our Chief Academic Officer, Dr. Angie Isbell, who's our Chief of Schools. They work in partnership with their directors and their staff to provide support to schools. So what I asked them to present this evening is based on the data that we have, as well as data that we're collecting since the start of the year, what are we doing to support our schools? Because ultimately, we want to make sure that all of our schools are successful moving forward, and we want to provide them the support they need to be successful. And Dr. Joppi is going to get us started, and Dr. Isbell is going to join her. So Dr. Joppi, I'll pass it to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Cotton, and good evening, Chair Swaggart, members of the board, Dr. Cotton, and Cabinet. We are here, as Dr. Cotton explained, to share our district's plan for supporting our schools. As part of our continuous school improvement process, the district team has worked to align our collective efforts toward a single shared goal, ensuring that every school in Chesapeake Public Schools has access to the resources, instruction, and support that they need to succeed. This presentation will outline how we are using our data as our guide to strategically align supports across academics, behavior, and attendance to meet schools where they are and accelerate school achievement. Our leadership team is united in service. It's grounded in collaboration, innovation, and shared purpose. We believe that success is a shared responsibility. When we work together, we build stronger teams that help every school and every student thrive. Through collaboration, communication, and cultivation, we're building a support team that's intentional and proactive and targeted. Our teaching and learning team ensures high-quality instruction, assessment, and differentiated supports for student groups. Professional and organizational development builds staff and leadership capacity through meaningful professional learning. Human resources recruits, supports, and retains exceptional educators and staff. Technology and innovation provides tools and systems that enhance teaching and learning. And our school leadership and support team partners directly with schools to align resources and deliver differentiated, data-driven support. So our collective strength allows us to align our resources, expertise, and energy to meet schools where they are. Together, we move from collaboration to action, delivering aligned, data-driven support that helps every school grow and every student succeed. Data is the starting point and the driver of all of our decisions. We analyze a range of indicators from academic performance and behavioral trends to attendance patterns. This allows us to identify strengths and gaps within each school. These data points help us determine not only where support is needed, but also the intensity and type of support that's required. Our approach is intentionally adaptive and designed to evolve as needs change, ensuring that our support remains both responsive and impactful. We're continuing to place a focus on Tier 1 instruction and administering aligned formative and summative assessments. This allows us to identify learning gaps early, use data to make more effective instructional decisions, and improve academic outcomes for all students. Tier 1 instruction is that foundational, high-quality curriculum and teaching that all students in a classroom receive. It includes evidence-based practices, differentiation, and support. This universal level of support is monitored through regular assessments, which helps teachers determine if students need additional, more targeted support at Tier 2 or Tier 3. We use high-quality resources and practices to strengthen instruction at every level. Canvas is our learning management system. We've moved beyond using Canvas as a storage system, and we use it as our digital hub for classrooms, helping teachers organize and deliver content and assignments, and providing students with a central place to access materials, submit work, and communicate with teachers. Our educators continue to streamline organization and communication through Canvas, and our students have an overview of their coursework and the ability to submit work and receive feedback easily. We've implemented a standardized Canvas course template that can be applied across all courses throughout the division, providing a more uniform and streamlined experience. For some courses, we've even blueprinted templates, preloading them with high-quality materials to support our teachers. This new template also ensures that we're meeting our legal and ethical obligations. By April 2026, new federal accessibility laws will be in effect, requiring all digital content to be accessible to individuals with disabilities. This is a significant step forward in creating a more cohesive and accessible educational experience for our entire community. So we're not just organizing our digital content, we're elevating it. Mastery Connect is our digital assessment management system that allows teachers to efficiently and effectively determine what a student knows and does not know based on the standards. Students' understanding is laid out in what they call trackers and based on a variety of assessment types. Reports are available for teachers, administrators, and parents. And we're able to launch our Mastery Connect assessments directly from our Canvas learning management system. Another resource we've implemented is IXL Math. IXL Math is an online learning platform offering a comprehensive, adaptive resource for students in kindergarten through grade 12. It includes content that aligns with state standards. The platform works by using a diagnostic assessment to identify each student's current proficiency level and creates a personalized learning plan based on their unique needs. As students practice, the program adapts the difficulty of the questions in real time to keep them challenged at the appropriate level. IXL provides teachers with powerful tools to differentiate instruction and maximize learning outcomes. Teachers receive actionable analytics. Those are detailed reports that offer real-time insights into student progress, usage, and trouble spots, making it easy to identify students who need help or who are ready for a new challenge. Teachers can use the analytics to quickly form small groups for reteaching or create individualized lessons. This resource also offers built-in video tutorials, step-by-step explanations, and lessons to support independent learning and make instruction more engaging. With the diagnostic and analytics data, teachers can pinpoint specific knowledge gaps and assign targeted skills to help every student reach their academic goals. We not only have supportive resources, but we also have effective practices to support our schools. Dr. Isbell will share more about our practices that build capacity.
Thank you, Dr. Joppi. An essential component of school success is the intentional planning that takes place within professional learning communities, or PLCs. These structured sessions provide dedicated time for teachers by grade level or content area to plan instruction and determine strategies to meet students at their current level. PLCs enable educators to collaboratively design lessons, identify learning gaps, share effective practices, and implement targeted interventions that enhance student achievement. At the district level, we used PLC data to determine how to best allocate resources and provide support to strengthen the effectiveness of PLCs across all of our schools. Support for PLCs may include guidance and collaboration with an instructional coach. Our school division provides ongoing aligned professional development that includes targeted coaching to strengthen instructional practices. This coaching support is a collaborative effort across multiple departments, including teaching and learning, professional and organizational development, and technology innovation. The strategic coordination of support promotes a unified and cohesive approach to school improvement. In turn, coaching develops leadership capacity, elevates instructional quality, and advances student achievement. When determining the level of support each school receives, decisions are grounded in data across 3 key areas, which Dr. Joppy referenced: academics, behavior, and attendance, but also staffing. We analyzed SOL results, screening tools, and district assessments to pinpoint where additional coaching or instructional adjustments were needed. We also reviewed behavior and attendance trends to understand school climate and engagement, and examined staff tenure and performance to gauge instructional stability and leadership capacity. Together, these insights ensure that our schools and our support for schools are differentiated, strategic, and responsive to each school's unique needs, and is designed overall to strengthen our collective focus on continuous improvement and school success. Although we are anxiously awaiting final data from the state, we're not waiting on the support that we're providing to schools. Every school receives district support. What differs is the intensity and the focus of that support. Schools meeting or exceeding benchmarks receive traditional support to sustain success through ongoing guidance, district resources, and shared best practices. In addition to the traditional support, schools identified through data as needing additional growth receive customized and coordinated support with a targeted approach that brings together multiple departments to address specific needs. Collaboration and communication are essential to the success of this work. Our central office team partners regularly and directly with schools through structured visits, learning sessions, and collaborative problem solving. Through this process, we will maintain transparent and consistent communication, providing timely updates, and most importantly, actionable feedback. We firmly believe this model strategically aligns resources to outcomes and remains responsive to the changing needs of our schools. Support will be differentiated across 3 essential domains: academic, behavior, and attendance. In the area of academics, schools will receive targeted instructional coaching, opportunities for collaborative planning, and guidance in the strategic use of data to inform both teaching and learning. Within behavioral supports, efforts will focus on the implementation of positive behavior interventions and supports, more commonly known to us as PBIS, the integration of restorative practices, and the development of structured intervention plans that promote a positive school climate. Regarding attendance, collaboration will center on reducing chronic absenteeism through enhanced family engagement and the establishment of consistent attendance monitoring protocols. This comprehensive and aligned approach will ensure that our collective efforts meet each school's unique needs and strengthen the systems that lead to sustained success. As we move forward, each decision will be made with purpose, precision, and a steadfast commitment to excellence. School data will be reviewed monthly to identify strengths and areas for growth, ensuring that decisions are evidence-based and communicated promptly to schools. Assigned support teams will coordinate school visits and develop clear, actionable next steps aligned to schools' needs. Additionally, departments will maintain ongoing collaboration, consistent communication, and shared accountability to ensure every school not only improves, but continues to thrive. Together, these deliberate, data-driven efforts are designed to create meaningful, lasting, and sustainable impact across our district. Thank you for your time and continued partnership. We remain committed to the success of our schools, and at this time, we're happy to answer any questions you have.
I don't see any questions. Thank you both for being here and for all of that information. And I know we look forward to continued updates as we do get them from the state, and look forward to what you have to bring us at that time.
Thank you.
There being no items this evening on the action agenda, we will move on to the superintendent's report. Dr. Cotton?
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the board. I just want to put out a reminder that our joint meeting with the City Council was rescheduled and will be held next Thursday, October 30th at 5 p.m. right here in this building. So just want to put that out as a reminder. Now on to the spotlight for this evening. As we speed closer to the end of October, I wanted to take the opportunity to highlight some of the important and exciting things happening throughout the district. This part of the fall is always a fun part of the year, especially with so many impressive things going on in our schools. Impressive may be the best way to describe our IB students at Oscar Smith High, who just completed their Theory of Knowledge exhibition. The Tigers were tasked with exploring the concept of knowledge using various academic and social topics. Their project asked them to reflect on the nature, scope, and limitations of knowledge with their topics, as well as the impact on the world now and throughout history. I always enjoy seeing our IB students rise to the occasion and challenge the concepts of thinking, and I'm always impressed by the way they reach new levels of understanding. Way to go, Tigers. You continue to impress us. More of our impressive students were in the spotlight recently as the DECA chapters from all 7 high schools gathered at Great Bridge High School for their Fall Leadership Conference. I was honored to be able to speak to our DECA students, and I was thrilled to see all of the enthusiasm and collaboration between schools. They even tried to get me to join their chapters at each of their schools, which is going to be rather expensive, but it's a worthy cause. Our students are learning valuable skills, and we love seeing those skills in action throughout the school year, both in the schools and in the community. Thank you to the Great Bridge High School for hosting and for all of the DECA participants for a wonderful Fall Leadership Conference. Our culinary arts students recently put their passion on display as our Peak Cafe program partnered with Marathon Health to host a hands-on cooking demonstration for beginners. Together, they prepared a Mediterranean pasta salad, and our students led stations on food safety, knife skills, and meat preparation. This event gave our students a meaningful opportunity to demonstrate their culinary talents while helping participants learn practical, healthy habits in the kitchen. We are so proud of our students for their leadership and grateful to Marathon Health for bringing this unique experience to life. The love of cuisine extended to all of our schools last week during National School Lunch Week. The week is organized by the School Nutrition Association and promotes the importance of a healthy school lunch and the impact it has both in and out of the classroom. Schools throughout our district celebrated School Lunch Week by having themed lunches and celebrations. Great Bridge Primary used the week to highlight cuisine from all around the globe, allowing students to try new foods and learn about the cultural importance of food. From Mexican to Italian to Asian and French, it was so great seeing the different themes throughout the week and how the lunch staff at Great Bridge added an international flair. Thank you to everyone at Great Bridge, our district's School Nutrition Services Department, and all of our schools for putting together an exciting and educational School Lunch Week. I was honored to be there as a taste tester, so that was my role last week. Recently, our FACE team and our community partners teamed up to put on a resource fair at Oscar Smith Middle School. The fair was designed to showcase all of the resources that the school district and the city offers for our families. The fair featured sweet treats from for attendees, as well as a performance by the Oscar Smith Middle School Choir. Thank you to the FACE team and the Oscar Smith Middle School for putting on yet another great event and further connecting with our families and the community. The FACE team and the Tigers weren't the only ones sharing resources. Just last week, we hosted our first benefits fair. All employees were invited to join us to learn more about the incredible benefits offered here in Chesapeake and receive assistance with the open enrollment process. Employees were also able to complete an on-site biometric screening and tour the Christina Way Health Center right here at SAB, formerly located at Nels Ridge. Thank you to our Department of Employee Benefits and Risk Management for making the event such a success. As a reminder to our employees, the open enrollment period ends on October 31st. For more information, employees are encouraged to visit cpschools.com/benefits. Finally, nothing marks the coming of fall in the district like the announcement of our Teachers of the Year. It's always exciting to see the surprise and shock from our teachers when they are officially announced as their school's honoree. Our Teachers of the Year represent the best of Chesapeake, and we cannot wait to celebrate our 2026 Teachers of the Year at the district ceremony in December. Last week, we also hosted our Media Day and invited our Teachers of the Year, or TOYS, to take their professional photos with Life Touch. Take a look at the highlights. This concludes my spotlight for the evening. Thank you, board members.
Thank you, Dr. Cotton. Last on our agenda this evening is board member items. Does any board member have an item to bring before the group? Ms. Huddle?
I'd like to bring attention to the time of year. Dr. Cotton, myself, formerly Mr. McCormick, have had the privilege of working with Access College Foundation. FAFSA is open, college deadlines are approaching. Seniors and senior parents, if you haven't made your high school's Access Advisor your best buddy, now is the time.
Thank you, Ms. Huddle. Seeing no additional board member items, I declare this meeting adjourned.